Welcome to the Chasing Spirituality podcast. I'm your host, Megan, and I'm so excited that you're joining me today. Each episode is full of heartfelt and expansive content that will really help you expand your consciousness and grow as a person. I created this podcast because I wanted to share my own personal experiences on my spiritual journey, but I also wanted to meet others and have them share what they've been through and how they've gotten to where they are today. If you haven't done so already, it would really mean a lot to me if you could rate and review the podcast. This really helps the podcast grow and reach more people, but it also allows me to get more guests on the show. Now on to today's topic. Hello everyone, welcome back to Chasing Spirituality. I am your host Megan, and I'm super excited that you're here. And I've been putting off recording an episode, not on purpose or intentionally, honestly. I've been really busy. And my episodes, sometimes they're pre-recorded, I guess, but never usually more than a month in advance, unless it's like an interview or something like that. But I've been so busy lately that I am recording this episode the same week that it is to air. And that happens from time to time, but I am pushing it a little close for my liking because I'm always afraid that I'm going to forget about something or something is going to come up, or I'm just not going to feel inspired to record. And I never want to record an episode if I'm not truly feeling like there's something I need to share or something that I think you guys need to hear. Because I think that really impacts the quality of the episode. If I don't want to be here, why would you want to listen to it, right? So this episode is going to be cutting it close, but here we are. It's been really busy. I went to the lake with my friend Erica, and we had a wonderful time. It was so fun. Really, it was just really chill. We didn't have plans. We didn't make it into anything huge. I was only there for 2 days, so I didn't really get to do a whole lot of activities, but that's what I needed. I needed to relax and rest and just have fun, and that was really fun. And before that, we had gone to Universal Studios, and I was working in between, so yeah, it's just been really busy the last couple weeks, but it's been a good couple weeks. I'm glad that I'm having some summer fun. I hope that you guys are enjoying the summer if you're in the U.S. I know I have some Australian listeners, so if you are over there on the other side, down under over there, it's probably not so summery over there where you're at, but I hope that you're at least enjoying whatever environment you're in to the best of your abilities, because it's really important that we rest right now, especially because of retrograde. We have a lot of planets in retrograde right now, so that also is causing us to want to rest more, and yeah, so I hope that you're having a wonderful summer. Anyways, enough rambling. I'm sorry. I sat around trying to figure out what I felt called to talk about. And there were a few different things that came up, but as I actually sat down to record, as always, Spirit comes in and changed what I thought we were going to talk about. So we're actually going to be talking about the clairs today. And I did record an episode on clairvoyance last week, and that was the last episode that came out. And I felt really inspired when I recorded that one. And so, that kind of just came back to my forefront because it's something that I've been personally working on. If you live close to me and you attend Sky Apothecary, then you know that we are also doing clairs and cacao every month, and I focus on a different clair. And so this month we're doing clairaudience, and so I thought maybe I need to talk about clairaudience, and that may be what this episode folds into. But I'm just going to kind of wing it and start talking about what I was called to share. And it's that we do relay messages through our clairs, right? We pick up things, and say you have clairvoyance, like in the last episode, you see the image of a girl, and you know your claircognizance kicks on, and you just know that that girl is connected to your friend Dave. And that's how you relayed that information. That's how you were able to picture it, like literally see it and relay it. But we also receive information through our clairs, through certain clairs. And depending on you will also determine on what clairs you use to receive information. And just like I say in my other clairs episodes that I believe we have access to all of the clairs, I do also believe that we use all of the clairs to receive information. But when you have awareness around this, it may make you realize that you receive information through certain clairs more often than others, just like when we use our clairs. So for me, for example, I receive information probably the most frequently or the easiest through clairaudience. So when I hear someone's voice, when they talk, whenever they speak to me, I can it makes it easier for me to tune in to their energy. It makes it easier for me to psychically tune into them. Now, when I connect, if you've had a psychic session with me, then you'll understand this. But, or if you've even had channeled coaching with me, you'll understand this. I tune into your energy before I ever hear you speak. I start tuning in intentionally, usually about 20 minutes before a session. Now, I do believe that once the connection is made, that we can start receiving information before we even realize that's what's happening. That's pretty common for a lot of psychics and mediums, that they'll start receiving information before they even know sometimes that that person's going to ask for a reading, or that they're going to come across this person and be able to deliver a particular message. That's really common. You know, there's people who they'll have a spirit come to them, and they can see the spirit or they can hear the spirit, and they know that the spirit's there, but they don't know who the spirit's for. And then like a week later, they'll come across someone at the grocery store, and that spirit will pop up, and they're like, oh, you're meant for that person. So I do believe that the information, we can receive information before we make any actual connection, just like I can receive information before I hear their voice. But 20 minutes before a session, I start writing down what I'm receiving, what I already am tuning into, what I'm feeling, seeing, knowing, whatever's coming to me. But in my psychic sessions or in my mediumship or channel coaching, the more that we talk to each other, I can get deeper into those messages. We can touch deeper into certain topics, or I may even get new messages that I didn't get in my first initial scan, depending on how long I had before the session. I try to give myself 20 minutes, but I'm just going to be honest, I don't always get that. Sometimes I get a few minutes and that's it. And I can still usually fill up an entire page. But it's like the longer I talk to them, it's like I can really then connect to their energy and get really deep into what's going on. And I do believe that that helps me connect to them more with my feeling, with clairsentience, because that's my strongest clair. But I believe the reason why I'm connecting to them more strongly is because I'm tuning into their energy through my clairaudience, through what I'm hearing. So I do believe that that's how that works for me. Now, some people, they may receive information through clairvoyance. So it may be when you see someone, when you see their picture, when you see their face, when you see an image of something, or you get a flash of something in your mind, and something triggers you visually. And when you see that visual, then you start to receive information. It may not even have anything to do with the image that you saw, but there was something about that image that triggered a connection between you and whatever you're receiving intuitively. So knowing how we also receive information is important. It's important for our intuitive growth, because then you can be more aware of what you need to be able to tune into energy more easily. If you know that you tune in through a picture of someone, then if you're really trying to give a good reading for someone, or you're really trying to tune into an energy for some reason, you probably should make sure that you have some kind of visual connection. It wouldn't be good for you to just hear their voice. You need to visualize them in your mind, or you need to have a picture of them. That's how you're receiving that energy. So the opposite, if someone really wants to hear something, they receive messages clairaudiently. They need to hear to receive that energy. They may want to hear the person's voice, or they may want to visualize that person speaking to them, or visualize their voice, or maybe even listen to a song that connects them to that thing, or that place, or that person, something that reminds them of them, just some way that they can really hear that connection to that energy. If you receive things through clairsentience, you may notice that you have a stronger connection when you're closer to someone, when you have a stronger connection to them, when you're around them, when you're just more tuned in to their frequency. I know that's true for me as well. The closer I get to someone, the more I know someone, the easier it is for me to tune into their energy. Now, I always obviously try to be respectful, and I don't go around intentionally connecting to my friends and family's energy. However, if they are very loud with their energy, it's going to be very, very receptive to me. And while I may be able to tell how they're feeling, I never try to dig deeper, if that makes sense. Like, obviously, I can be around somebody and tell, even if they're doing a really great job of hiding it, that they're in a bad mood, especially if it's someone that I'm really close to, because I have a stronger clairsentient connection to them. Or if I'm around them in person, that's going to strengthen that clairsentient connection to them. So it's going to make it easier for me to receive their energy. And I think that empaths can really resonate with that, because again, I think that if you identify as an empath, then you're definitely clairsentient. I don't believe that there's really a difference. Now, there's other spiritual teachers out there that believe differently. So if that does not resonate with you, don't accept it as your truth. But for me, they're really one and the same. It's just clairsentience is what you call it when you've worked on it, when you've developed it, you've gotten to a point where you can work with it and control it. That to me would be really the only distinction, but other than that, they're one and the same. Claircognizance for me is one that is a little harder to determine or predict, but basically the way that it works for me is something will just randomly trigger it. I don't really know how to explain it, and it's just like I just know something. It's like almost like I'm in a space of just thinking, and then this random thing just pops in my mind and I just know it. So I don't really know how that one is, how you receive through that one, I guess. It's just so spontaneous, and I'm not really sure how else to describe it. And I've done lots of other episodes on the clairs, so if you haven't listened to those, make sure you go back and check them out. I've done an overview over all of them, and this was kind of just what I was feeling called to talk about, because we always talk about how we give messages, through different clairs, how we find that understanding. But we never talk about how we're pulling that energy in. And I think that both are important, especially when you're trying to grow, when you're trying to learn about how your gifts work. Like, it's really cool to be able to go to a practice circle, or practice with your friends, or practice on somebody, and know what you need from them to be able to really, really sink deep and go deep into that reading. And then it's even cooler to know what your weakness is, to know that you really would do better if you maybe heard their voice. So instead you decide to, I only want to see a picture of them, or you want to use nothing. Those are even scarier, when you have nothing to go off of, no picture, no voice, no energy connection, no nothing. But those are usually the most profound because they're the most validating. You're just like, wow, I really got all that information and I barely received anything. Like, that's pretty cool. So it's really good to understand how this works. So I hope that this helped you in some way. I hope that it made sense. It made sense when I received the download on it. So hopefully it makes sense to you guys. Feel free to email me and let me know if you liked this episode, if it helped you in some way. If you're looking to practice with your own clairs, I do have a community where we do a practice circle once a month, and we practice on each other. Sometimes I show pictures. It's really fun. It's a safe space where we're all learning, we're all working together. And I also do a live channeling as well, where I channel a guide or an angel or someone and bring forth messages. Sometimes we have time to ask questions if we have questions that we want answered. It's just a cool space to be in. So check that out if you're looking for more practice with your intuitive gifts. And if you're local to me, then you know that we have those in the shop. I do a practice circle there every month as well, which is also a super safe place. It's really fun. We make it light. And then the Clairs and Cacao class is also once a month, where we practice specific skills and we learn about the fundamentals of how to develop those clairs. It's not exactly a practice circle, but we do practice with our gifts. So I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone you love. And it would mean so much to me if you could rate, review, and subscribe so that the podcast can reach and assist more people. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love.